Hi guys, Tomley here. In today's video, I want to talk about games that I'm excited for 2014. And first up on the list, it's got to be Wolfenstein. Now, Wolfenstein to me is everything that a first person should be. It's got a brilliant story. I mean, a first person shooter to me should have a good story. It should be fun as well. And I think that's what's missing in most first person shooters, fun. I mean, Call of Duty, to me, is not fun. It's rage inducing. It just winds you up. There's something about that game that doesn't... I've never heard anyone say, I'm just going to go and chill out and play Call of Duty. No one ever does that, ever. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But back to Wolfenstein. It looks fun and it looks well designed. It's made by people that actually care about the game instead of doing it for profit, which I think is the best way to make games. I mean, look at Plants v Zombies. To me, that's another perfect example of a game that's made by people that love the games and want to make a game that is well designed, well thought out, and released when it's ready to be released, and not released when the accountants say, if we release it now, we can make a few extra million. That's not the way people should work in any business, especially the gaming industry, where your entire revenue is built up from people having fun and enjoying the product that you're making. So it should be released when it's ready to be released. It should be released when not the head of the game company says so, but the actual designers, the actual programmers say, yeah, we're quite happy with this, we're ready for this to be released. That's my opinion anyway. And that's why I think Wolfenstein will be one of the, not surprises, but the outstanding winners of 2014 for the Xbox One, because it's really put together nicely. It's got a brilliant storyline. It's set in an alternate universe, basically, where the Nazis won World War II. And then because of that, it's such a rich environment. You can tell so many different stories and add so many characters, because obviously the Nazis would have done some crazy things if they had won World War II. So it opens up so many doors and possibilities that you can actually put in the world that they've created. So that's why I'm looking forward to Wolfenstein. I know that Wolfenstein for the Xbox 360 wasn't that great of a game, but I think they've got it right this time. I really do. And I'd be extremely disappointed if it turned out shit. But I don't think that's going to happen, because they've took the time, they've polished the game. They're not releasing it just to make money. I don't think they're releasing it because the people that are building the game and designing the game actually care about the game. They actually want the game to do good. They probably put a piece of themselves in that game. Also, it's got the same kind of style and the same kind of coolness as Zombies as well, for Black Ops. And I long for more Zombies. I mean, I can't believe it's a 3-year cycle now. That was like the worst news ever. I mean, I couldn't give a fuck about the multiplayer, but Zombies, it just got better and better to do with Call of Duty. But I believe Wolfenstein has that same kind of coolness and unique kind of style. But it's a fully fledged game, which is a major draw for me, because if they made a Zombies game that was like a standalone Zombies game, I would be pre-ordering that the day they announced it. You can get a bit of that with Wolfenstein, so that's another plus for the game. I mean, I'll be doing a full walkthrough on the game as soon as it comes out on my channel, so if you're interested in Wolfenstein, 20th of May it starts, that's when it comes out, so probably about the 21st I'll be posting some Wolfenstein if you want to check it out. Next up is The Division. Now, The Division looks good to me for different reasons and nothing like Wolfenstein. Now, the story behind The Division is basically a virus has escaped, or we're not quite sure whether it's a terrorist attack or whether it's just a virus that's mutated on itself, but basically there's a massive pandemic in America and law and order has collapsed, and you play as a shadowy government agency called The Division, whose goal is to try and find out what's going on, try and salvage the situation, and just generally, find out what's going on in the actual world, because obviously communication and food and everything like power and stuff like that's all broken down. So you're kind of in like a post-apocalyptic world where there are plenty of survivors, but it's still an extremely dangerous place. It takes place in New York City, so I mean it's like an open world Grand Theft Auto but based in New York City. And there's other players in that world as well, so you can interact with them. So say if you bump into another group of players that are helping each other out, then you can either decide, okay, well we'll try and kill them and take their stuff, or you can work with them, and you have missions to do, but they're not like predetermined missions. You're not forced into doing missions to progress in the story. You can just wander around doing whatever you want, but you can do the missions and you progress further and you unlock more parts of the map, and hence probably better weapons, and plus you unlock the story, so you'll learn more about what's gone on and what's happening and what your role in this world is. Now, some games, they have a weird progression system. It's very cluttered and very hard to understand what you actually need to do, but I think The Division is going to be quite simple because they're working on the premise of it's like a progression tree. So you start out with one core ability and then you can slowly branch off by adding things, and you have presume you're going to earn points, and you're going to be able to spend them points on different parts of the tree. Once you start going down one part of the tree, you'll be more inclined to carry on going down that part of the tree instead of just overall just boosting your character's overall skill. For those of you who have played Borderlands and Borderlands 2, which I might add are really good games, then the progression tree, I reckon, will be similar to that. Obviously not laid out exactly the same, but it's got the same kind of progression system. And one more thing that I think is underestimated quite a lot in games is graphics. Graphics don't make a game, don't get me wrong, graphics don't make a game at all. If you've got good graphics and the gameplay is even good but not brilliant, then I think the game's no good. But if the gameplay is really good and the graphics are really good, it makes it so much more enjoyable to play. I mean, Gears of War 3, the campaign on that, the graphics on that game were absolutely amazing, and the storyline was pretty good. I think it was the best Gears of War yet, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that game. Now, I would still enjoy the game if the graphics weren't as good, but just visually it just made it so good to look at. It made the story come to life because the world looked so much more real. Just like in The Division. Now, I've seen many trailers of The Division and like bits of gameplay that developers have released, and the graphical power of the next gen I think is starting to be utilised now. Because like on Titanfall, I don't think they utilise the next gen console at all, I really don't. But on The Division, I think they've started to actually, stretch its legs, see what it can actually do. Because they're not pushing it anywhere near what it's capable of. I mean, look at the 360 when that first came out. The graphics on that were terrible compared to what they were like at the end of its life. And the hardware was exactly the same. It was exactly the same hardware, but they just found out how to utilise it and get the most out of it, which I think they're just starting to do with the next gen console. So that's why The Division looks so good. I'll put a link in the description, some gameplay of The Division, so you guys can actually see what I'm on about. And I'm sure you'll agree that The Division looks visually stunning. There's one little cutscene in there that there's like a car with the car exhaust is like billowing out the back, and the brake lights are shining through it, and it looks so good. It looks so photorealistic. I mean, as close as you can get to actually, photorealism. And that about wraps it up for today, guys. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, so you'll be the first to know when I post a video or any news that I have to share. The link will be at the end of the video. As always, I've been Tomley. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.